All right, and we are recording. All right, and I'm gonna stop the game in the middle, and you can. This is interactive, so you can tell me what's going on. If you see foul, you can just tell me. And again, what's really crucial here is to see a mistake, how much a mistake can cost you, and what happens in a game if you don't know all the rules. I'm sure they know the rules, and I'm sure they are experienced players. Again, this is the national team, but it really cost them a lot today in this game. So they just scored. Wow, this is a shot. Okay, maybe they're doing press. Sorry, I did went back a little bit just to make sure that the quality would be good. All right, still on press. Actually, did someone see this? Do you know what's going on here? Can someone tell me, is that a foul?
It should be, no?
So that would be obstruction, actually, because he doesn't have the ball and he got hit. Ezio, correct me if I'm wrong, please.
It should be.
Yeah. So
Let's watch it again.
So he went in.
Then again, it's more like the blue player is not really trying to move. He's actually trying to stop the Russian. So maybe it was the right call not to call it. You know.
Okay. Okay. And Omar, you were asking about this. This is a technical change right here, a sub, where he's going to go out and someone else will go in press, right? So that's kind of a situation where we talked about before that just the fastest way is he can, at this point, take a sweep and get himself parallel to the line outside, and the other person can come in quicker. So that's quicker than going back. So guys, if you don't understand this rule, you have to be off the pitch completely, meaning your boat, your gear, your helmet, your paddle, off the pitch completely before someone else comes in.
Does it matter where in the pitch you leave? Like, where do you leave the pitch, or in any position, like any place is okay?
You have to
Like,
be
does
on
it
the
have to be the sides, or
it has to be the end line, anywhere along the end line.
Okay.
For a sub, if you get out of the pitch anywhere else, let's just say that somebody capsizes and they end up swimming and they get off the sideline, even if they're off the pitch, they cannot be substituted until the next break in play. And that's because they did not leave the pitch on the goal line.
Oh, let's see.
And one more thing. Sorry, Etsu, did you want to say something? Okay, one more thing. You see the distance here, so you have to have actually I can't remember the distance now, 1.5 meters off the goal. So you have to be off the goal, right? So I guess they don't want people to mess with the goal or just be in a situation that would be even close to the frame. So there is a rule about how close you can be.
Right. Yeah, you cannot as a sub, you cannot just sit behind the goal. There were instances in which, it could be a distraction to the shooter. There were instances in which the subs were moving the goal. If you can imagine, in this case, when the goal is floating, it doesn't take much to just lean on it or hit it with your boat and make it bounce enough that you can affect a possible goal. So now you see that the subs and you can see the markers on either side of the goal. Like there's one right in between. There's a yellow buoy between the two players on the top side, and then there is so you can come in and out under the goal. You just cannot sit there.
Yeah.
It's actually 4 meters from the center of the goal frame.
Yeah,
I 4 meters on either side. Yes.
Yeah, for 2 meters. I was off. It's not 1.5. It's 2 meters. Thank you, Ollie. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. But still, it's good because we're watching a real situation and we're trying to look into it. The interesting part will come in pretty soon. Sorry. Okay, that's all good.
Sammy, can you show the tactical like thing one more time?
Oh, the tactical sub?
Yeah, can you show it one more time?
Yeah, of
Sorry.
course. Yeah.
While you go back there, I mean, it should be pointed out that it was not a very well executed sub.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they didn't really gain an advantage by doing that because the player that came in right where the ball already is. The idea is that you see where Sweden number 7 is.
Yeah.
That's the player that goes out. He should have come out closer, draw that defender close to the ball, and then get out to allow one of the players on the near side of the pitch to come in to buy themselves some
here?
space.
You mean here, for example? Here?
No, but 7 doesn't sub out. The guy next to 7 subs out.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, but the Russian guy that now subs out should have first drawn the Swedish number 7, yellow 7,
Over there.
over to the top of the screen, and then come out to allow somebody to come in towards the bottom of the way we're looking at it. And that's really how you can buy yourself some space while you're being pressed.
Yeah.
So you can basically lure someone, if someone's attacking you at the line, you can lure them off the pitch and then sub.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, of course, yeah, because if you're pressing, you're not going to let that man go, right? Because otherwise they're going to get... So they either going to get free and get the ball, or they're going to get out and hopefully get you stuck far from where the sub is coming in. So now that the player with the ball that's up in the top here can just lob the ball over, and that guy is coming in with speed and can hopefully get free. And when you're pressing, all you got to try to do is to get one person free, because once you got one person free, you got a man advantage, and you can hope to make some happen.
Oops, sorry, I lost it.
Yeah. One question there, Ezio. I see there is a boat behind that person who's going out.
Here?
I don't know why it was the other person who went in and not the person behind that. Is that like a coach decision or?
But that's why I'm saying that it was a poorly executed tactical sub, because you're right. It's that boat that we barely see on the left side that should have come in for that to be a more effective sub.
Yeah, the guy who comes to watch it play it.
Maybe that player wasn't ready. Maybe the other one was too eager. I don't know, but that's the player that should have come on.
Yeah, that guy comes out by the goal, and he's all not in a great spot because he's
right, because the ball is still there. He's not really going to be much help to the Russian player that has the ball. Okay. But anyway.
And also this is press, right? So they might have set people for press, so they know that this guy is needed for press for some reason. So he's out.
Sure, it could be that he's just faster, and then
Okay, so yeah, so he actually comes in and he's like, I'm gonna go all the way up. Okay, so we watched this. I'm just gonna go back. Okay, that was
that a goalie foul?
Okay, so let's see what happened. Yeah, that's here. This guy, you mean this guy, right? Yeah, interestingly enough, actually they called it as, I don't know how they called it. It doesn't show.
I'm really not sure what's happening right now, but
yeah, maybe a green card. Okay, and this is actually where it's gonna get more interesting. So yeah, you see it's 4-2 to Russia, so they're winning. And I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, so that's is that let's see, what was that sign? That was just
that sign. Well, I mean, what he's technically signaling is like a starting infringement or illegal possession, but it could just be I had to stop the time to talk to the table, and you guys restart now. It's
okay, because that was weird, but okay. All right, so I hope this is the part that I think so. Yeah, I think that's the actually interesting part. So let's see. Okay, nope. Still not it. I'm gonna just move up a little bit. Okay, that makes more sense because now it's 5-2 and this is where it's gonna happen. Sorry guys again. All right, let's see. All right, so what's that foul? Oops. Let's see it again. And
Bam.
so number 4 or number I can't
Whatever.
see. Yeah. So anyone has any idea what happened here?
Touching the shooting hand.
That was an illegal hold.
Yeah. He looked like he went for a push on the front. With his,
And also he was trying to grab the ball from him.
right.
So it was a foul. And yeah,
It's given a card.
Yep. So they gave him a yellow card, not even a green card. Now you can argue maybe something happened before in the game. We don't know the history of what happened here, so that's fine. But he got it.
Yeah, it could have been his second foul
Yeah.
of the same type. We don't know.
So now he's out. So that's the first yellow card in the game.
Hi, can you please repeat the footage of the actual foul and maybe like point at it with a cursor? Thank you.
Mhm.
If I can. Okay, so watch. Sorry. So again, it's number 4 driving in. He has the ball. He hasn't actually released the ball to anyone, so he can just focus on 4 and focus on the chase. So he has the ball still, and he's just moving his arm, right? And this is what happened here because he was trying to grab the ball from him, and he already has a good grip on it. So any touch would be a foul at that point. So that's the foul. And yeah, he's out. All right. So what happened here? Sorry, let me go back again and let it play. I just paused it a little bit early. So that's a shot. And then, so you can't really see it, but that was a paddle foul because the goalie actually put his paddle down and after the ball got blocked. So they called it paddle foul.
So the goalie blocked the ball went back on the water. The Swedish attacker was diving onto the ball to get it, and the goalie reached for it with his paddle to either get it or knock it out, which would be a paddle foul, which is what the referee was calling.
Yep. So that's not a card here, right? It's still bad because it was somehow on purpose that he was trying to get the ball, but I don't think it was gonna be called as there's no card here at least, and no GPS. Okay, so
no, because it wasn't shooting.
Yeah,
and it wasn't a dangerous foul.
So he stopped the game, and he's gonna actually tell him where to be. Right. So this is also, you have to be aware of the referee, try to look at the referee, understand where he wants to be, because this is going to take like probably 20 seconds for them to figure out where he wants him to be. And you can fight against them. You can fight against the other people, number 7 and number 5, but you can't fight against that guy who has the ball, who's going to play the ball now, number 2. So you can see he's actually has his paddle up. He's not fighting against him. He's letting him get in position. So he's trying to tell him where to stay. Which, this is interesting, Ezio, because that was not where the foul is, right? Or the foul was
not at all.
on
the
side.
Foul was, yeah.
So that was a little bit off, but it is what it is.
I have a question, Sammy. Could that paddle foul have been carded, or is that a card not?
You know what?
Allowed for paddle foul.
Okay, I'm gonna speak for myself. It could have been a green card because it felt that it was not accidentally. It was like on purpose that he was trying to get the ball. And but Ezio, you can speak for that too.
Right. I mean, he totally could have. because it was deliberate. I mean, obviously the goalkeeper was deliberately trying to play the ball over there. So it's just a question. My guess is that from over there, the referee couldn't really see how close he got to the hand or how dangerous. And because the Swedish player would have been kind of obstructing his view. So it's likely probably just be a little more lenient since it was the goalkeeper and he was not trying, it didn't foul him to block the shot, which would have been more dangerous, but just reaching into the water. So, I mean, yeah, it could have been a green card.
And if you're not aware, green card, you get 3 green cards for the whole team, and then it turns into yellow. But on the same person, you can get 2 green cards, and the third one is a yellow. Is that correct?
If you get 3 green, if an individual player gets 3 green cards for any reason,
it turns
then the next one will be a yellow.
Yes.
If you get if you already have a green card for one type of foul and then you make the same foul again, then that would be a yellow.
Yeah. Okay.
If the team has a team warning for that foul, then the next person on that team that commits that same foul will be a yellow, even if that person has not made that foul before.
Can you go over at some point, doesn't have to be now, the standards for just standard foul, green card, and yellow card?
Sure. I'm going to make a note and we'll go back to it.
Yeah. All right.
I've got a referee's question. As a referee, it's really hard to keep track of which fouls which players made. So, you know, knowing that it's a second foul of the same type by a certain player, I mean, you've got to have a pretty good memory to remember if you've got a team that's fouling a lot.
Well, but that's why we have a table that keeps track of that. And that's why when you're giving a card, you always turn back to the table and tell them, I'm giving this card to this player for this foul so they can track it for you.
Right.
And so hopefully next time you give a card, the table should let you know, it's like, hey, you already give this player a card for the same foul. So do whatever you need to do. But, you know, the table just needs to keep track of that for you.
So that's a good thing for people to know who aren't refereeing, because we often just put people on the table and they just think they're recording scores, but they've got a more active job these days.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they're still trying to get in position. As I said, it just took some time for them to get there. So number 5 is actually has the ball. Okay, they passed it. And a block. Okay, so it's a corner. Okay, another corner. I'm just gonna fast forward this a little bit. And they still have 4 on the pitch. I don't know why they have 3 now all of a sudden. Wait, did we miss something?
Looks like it.
Oh, sorry. Let's see what happened. Oh, yeah, I know what happened. Sorry. So, guys, so this is actually very important here because I know some people do that. So, so it was a corner, right? It's a easy call, nothing to be upset about. And then this guy right here, you see what happened? He actually passed the ball away from the player. So again, he got the ball. He looked at the referee. He knew what's going on, and then he still passed it away from the guy. So that's why he got a yellow card this time, and he went out because he actually deliberately passed the ball, knowing the foul or the call, which was a corner, and he should have just left it there.
Could you go back just a second and let me watch the whole thing through, like from right before, yeah, from right here. So the shot gets blocked. He reaches for it, but as he does that, like right now, ball's out of bounds. The referee hasn't called the corner yet. Calls it now.
Yep. I thought he
So
called it.
timeout. Hold on. Timeout.
And a yellow card.
Yellow card. So it could have been that the other referee on this side called it first, which makes sense because he would have been the one that actually could see it better because the other referee was further away. So I just wanted to see because it didn't look like the ref that we can see had already called the corner.
Yeah.
When the guy threw the ball away. But if the ref on this side, which would have been the one in the best position to call it, already did, and then the player deliberately threw the ball away, that could have been, I mean, if that's why, it is a little harsh because he was passing it to a teammate. He wasn't throwing the ball away. But if that's what,
I thought he was throwing it away. He wasn't passing it because he
passed
looked.
he passed it to the goalie.
Oh, no. It's not. It's. I think it wasn't. Okay, let me go back. So it's not that guy that got the yellow card. I think it's this guy, right?
Oh, okay. So what it does right now. Oh, I see. He's just tossing it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I thought it was the guy that conceded.
No, he was playing the ball still. He was just, he didn't know.
Right. Okay. No, that makes sense.
Goalie. He's the goalie.
Yeah, the goalie, because he should have just dropped the ball there. At that point, the whistle had been blown.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that was a little bit unsportsmanship in a way, and he just passed the ball away from Sweden. So now they're down to 3 players on the pitch. And they still can't score, but that's okay. Okay, this is very interesting because a lot of people do that sometimes where they drive in and hit the guy. So that's actually a foul. They're going to call it right now because your direction went into the guy and you did not try to protect or change your direction. So they called it a foul on Sweden.
Just because you have the ball, that doesn't mean that you cannot commit a kayak tackle. An illegal kayak tackle. You still have to be able to control your speed and your direction so that you don't endanger another player. And the guy that was going in for the shot went right into the chest of the defender. Yeah.
So let me just play that again. Number 10 got the ball and he hit the Russian guy. So
actually, it wasn't even the chest; it was right in the crotch.
Yeah,
but exactly. is it because the other guy kind of like cleaned into the attacker, so he kind of like made himself.
Well, so he put himself in an advantage position, right? He leaned into it and put his body right there, and that's not a foul on the defender. He's doing actually the smart thing. So again, if you took a stroke off someone's boat because the boat is next to you, I put my boat right there and you took a stroke off my boat, that's a foul on you, not on me. Because I was
yeah, it's all about timing, right? If the defender had thrown himself onto the shooter's boat afterwards, then that would not have been a foul. But he was already in that position, which is entitled to be, and the driver went into him. It's the same thing if the ball's on the water, you know, and you know that the other player is gonna come in with the paddle and you stick your hand in it. Yeah, your hand was already there before, you know, and after the player had already started moving their paddle, but it's still a foul.
Yeah. So you can drive into someone and be like, oh, I was just going that direction. That's still a foul. Because again, here he should have at least took a stroke to change his direction or something, but he went straight into the guy, and that would be a foul. So now,
question on the yellow cards: are they out for the half? How long do they have to stay out?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay.
Or a power play. A power play meaning that if they score, they come back in. If the other team scores, they come back in.
Okay.
Both of them or just one?
Say again?
If they score, both of them come in because they have 2 out.
No, it would be one, right, Ezio? Would be one player coming in.
Just the one.
Okay, so yeah, all of this is within 2 minutes because you still have 3 players on, so it's a very interesting game. Okay, so now they're playing press. It's 3-on-5, and Russia is really handling it well in terms of the sport itself, right? But or technicalities, they are doing well. Look at this guy here. Look at, he's coming all the way, and bam. So that is an obstruction, right? A straight up obstruction. He just came in, took the guy out. That's not cool.
Yeah, because the blue player wasn't moving, so you couldn't argue that he was just trying to go down the pitch. I mean,
yeah, but he's going directly into him, not down.
Right. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can see that he is coming in to hit him.
Right. Number 2 is trying to play the ball, and then the other Russian defender cuts him off.
Yeah. All right. So, sorry, I lost it. This is again harsh again in a way, because they stopped the game and they called the 3rd yellow card. So again, a little bit harsh, I think, because it was just obstruction. But in this case, they went down to 2 players and they can't have a game, and the game automatically goes to Sweden. Although Sweden was down by 3 goals. It's 5-2 to Russia. Russia made 3 yellow cards, 3 fouls that led to 3 yellow cards, and they're out. So again, you can mess it up and you can lose a game like that. So yeah, Sweden is celebrating, although they're down by 3 goals, and the game ends.
Just a question on that last obstruction one. Was the ball in the Russian possession to begin with? Is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. If it had been in Sweden's possession and there was one Russian defender on, and then that, whatever, the one who did the foul, he did the same thing, what would have been the consequence there?
Well, it depends on who had the ball.
Sweden had the ball.
Right, but which player, right? If the
same setup, Let's just give the ball.
Two double screen or 2 double.
No, then that would have been fine, because
so you can double team someone.
Absolutely, it's not advisable, because that means that somebody else is free. But yeah, you can. The only outside of the 6 meters, the only person that you can kayak tackle is the person with the ball. If that person has the ball, you can send all 5 people on him if you want. Legally, I mean, you can, physically attack him, but that would have been fine, even if both Russian players were trying to tackle him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but Ezio, there is an obstruction where, let's say, 2 players are from like both teams are going for the ball, and then there's a 3rd player that comes and touches the ball, and then it's an obstruction.
If one player was pushing against the other guy, right? If they're just paddling down and someone else touches, that's not a foul. If he obstructed him from getting to the ball, like paddle against him, that would be a obstruction.
Yeah, it's difficult to visualize some of these situations without a video. But yeah, you can only tackle someone if the person has the ball, or if both of you are the closest ones to the ball and you're within a certain distance to the ball.
3 meters.
So you can just tackle, so basically a boat length.
Yeah.
Can you please repeat when we can tackle with the kayak?
So you can tackle anybody that has possession. So if that person has the ball either in their hands or within hands reach, with the ball being in the water, or if both of you are going for the ball, you're the 2 closest ones to the ball of your respective teams, and you're within 3 meters of the ball. So let's just say that there is a fast break and everybody's down to one end of the pitch, and then the ball gets tossed almost all the way to the other 6 meter line, and 2 players are sprinting, 1 from each team. They cannot start tackling each other in the middle of the pitch because they're more than 3 meters away from the ball.
Yeah.
So they need.
Are we allowed to tackle in the pitch?
You are, again, if either the person that you're tackling has possession of the ball, or if the 2 of you are both fighting for the ball and you're within 3 meters of the ball.
Yeah.
Then you can, right? Does that make sense?
If 2 people are fighting for the ball, and the 3rd person touches the ball before they reach the ball, that's an obstruction, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, because in that case, whichever team has two players in that scenario is committing an obstruction.
So yeah, I'm gonna just play it one more time because I know a lot of people are interested in this. So yeah, Russia has the ball. Number 7 is protecting the ball, and now that comes in. And actually, some people might actually even debate on this foul here. Number 7 actually took a stroke and he pushed the boat, but like you can see it, he pushed his boat actually, but they might not call that. All right, so any questions about this video?
I actually have one question. It's
Yes,
more about
please.
when the sprint happens and then the ball is still not clear, like who has the ball. You cannot tackle one of the sprinters, right? Like you cannot tackle the sprinter until there is a clear possession, right?
So they changed the rule. I guess Ezio, if you don't mind if I take that one. They changed the
Okay,
rule
go.
that now there should be a possession before someone else comes in. Or the ball is away by 3 meters from both of them, and then someone else can come and take the ball. Is that correct, Ezio? Did I put that?
I believe so.
So the ball in the middle, they come in, somehow their bows at the same time jumped at the ball, and the ball in the air and it comes down. My understanding is that if it's away from them by 3 meters, someone else can come and take the ball. But if it's within 3 meters, one of them has to have position first before they come in and tackle.
And by possession, is it just having the ball, or like I don't know, like, because sometimes you have the ball but you're like half capsized, like but you have the ball, so that's not possession, right?
Well, if you have the ball in your hands and you're going down, I mean, the 5 seconds still count, even if you're capsized, right? So now the other thing is that you cannot tackle somebody who's upside down. So,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Ezio, do you want to just explain possession? Because I think possession is a good explanation here.
That's fine. I wanna be
official about it.
Yeah, but it's good to just refer to the official language, because that's all we have to. If I can find it, I wish they put like bookmarks on this thing. There you go. Thank you. I was almost there.
Oh, so that's actually the rule that we're talking about.
Right.
May make an attempt to gain possession of the ball. Any other player that accompanies the player attempting for the ball must not be within a radius of 3 meters. Because before they were send like 2 people down and try to get the ball until 3 meters from the body of the player attempting for the ball, until one player has gained clear possession. So clear possession, which is still vague, but yeah,
it's still vague, yeah. But well, while I look for this, you basically you have possession of the ball if you have the ball in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
If you are controlling the ball with your paddle, with the ball being on the water, or balancing the ball on the paddle, or if the ball is within hand's reach of you and the ball is in the water and not in the air. With the exception that if there are 2 players and the ball is between them, then neither one has clear possession, right? Because they're both within hand's reach.
Mm-hmm. All right, Ezio, you want to take over and discuss rules, or maybe we can talk about some of the questions first.
Can I ask you a question on that sprint? Does the ref make the call? Like, is there a whistle blown when possession happens, or
no?
What's the ref's role in that, other than making sure there's no penalties?
Well, it's just observing, and now the only time the referee will blow the whistle is to either call a foul or stop the game. So there is no no whistle or siren or anything that goes on to indicate that there is possession. It's just if something happens and that player didn't have possession and there was a foul, then that's when the referee will call it. So
Okay.
So guys, also this is a good point on referee. If people are reffing, the say is the less you know that there is a ref, the better it is, right? So the ref needs to be interactive, yes, and call everything, but also he wants to get the game going. You don't want to stop every single foul. There might be cases where you let the play go and then you give a card after when you have a timeout or you have a goal or a foul, not a foul, sorry, out of bounds. So yes, the referee should see everything and call everything, but also to get the game going, that's better in a way. So they say if you didn't see there's a referee, that's a good game. But people can debate that, of course.
right. I think that for our purposes, for nationals, I don't know that we need to worry about such extreme cases like the one that we just saw. We just need to make sure that we call the dangerous fouls, especially the paddle fouls on the blocks and dangerous pushes. Those are going to be the ones that we're more likely to see that we really need to make sure to get right. Because we, at this point, we're not playing for any kind of high level trophy. We just don't want people to get hurt. Want everybody to have a good tournament and have a good time. If that makes sense.
Oh, so that was the one that he had when he restarted the game. Almost, he had that
Right.
when we had a weird situation and we didn't know what's going on. He just called this. Okay.
Right. So I think the easiest thing is going to be to just go by what people have specific questions about, because I'm sure that everybody's got some things that are not quite clear or that you've seen and don't quite understand. And that's going to be, I think, the best thing, rather than me just going off about the rules, because we could do that for a couple of days straight and it's not going to be fun. So
can I ask you to start with GPS? Because that one comes up a lot, is when it's a GPS and when it's just another type of.
right. So let's go here. Goal penalty shot, rule 10.29. So, and there's going to be about 5 different scenarios, right? So if you're inside the 6 meters, a goal penalty shot will be awarded for any deliberate or dangerous foul on the player in the act of shooting. So if you have somebody that's inside, they're taking a shot, they get fouled, and the foul is both deliberate and deliberate or dangerous, then it should be a goal penalty shot. And still inside the 6 meter, same thing. If it's a deliberate or dangerous foul on a player that's passing for a near certain goal, and now we can dispute what makes a near certain goal. That kind of depends on the situation and the players involved. Then
open net fast break. Sorry,
go ahead.
Open net fast break.
Right, exactly. This one is one that we discussed a lot over the last couple of practices. So inside the 6 meter area, a goal penalty shot will be awarded for a deliberate or dangerous foul on a player who's attempting to take a free shot. So let's just say that there is a foul in the 6 meter, but that person was not shooting or the foul was not dangerous. So we're only giving a free shot. Now, if somebody fouls that player deliberately or dangerously while taking a free shot, that upgrades to a penalty shot. And now it doesn't have to be a dangerous foul, right? It can just be deliberate. So if you're deliberately kayak tackling that player while they're trying to take the shot, that is a foul, and that will go up to a goal penalty shot.
And since we might actually run into this at nationals, any GPS, any goal penalty shot is accompanied by a yellow card automatically. So you're gonna lose a player for 2 minutes automatically.
Right. And it's also probably good to clarify, because I don't know that we were clear about this when we were talking about it the other day, that it doesn't necessarily convert to a GPS if you make that foul outside of the 6 meters. So if you fouled somebody while taking a free shot outside of the 6, it doesn't necessarily go up to a GPS automatically, because the rule is specific that that's only inside the 6 meters.
There is the outside of 6 meter here.
Right, those two scenarios, but still involve deliberate dangerous fouls in the act of shooting for near certain goal when the goal is not defended. So if you're trying to take a shot on an open goal from outside the 6 and you get foul, like somebody trying to make a block or something, that will also be a GPS. But as opposed to the first paragraph of this rule, it has to be a near certain goal. Just the act of shooting alone, like if you're trying some weird ass backhanded behind the back shot, you cannot claim it's like, oh, I was shooting, it should be a GPS. No, it needs to be a near certain goal with an open net. And same thing if you're in the act of passing, again, on a
Pardon
fast
me.
break.
What defines a near certain goal? What is the definition of that? What does that look like?
Right, near certain goal will be in this scenarios right here, it will most likely be either a one-on-one shot against the goalie or a shot on an open net.
But these both say while the goal is not defended.
That's an open goal.
That's specific for the shots that are outside the 6 meter.
Got
The
it.
idea is that
Okay.
if you're taking a shot from outside the 6 meters with the goalkeeper in, you cannot claim that would have been a near certain goal, right? Because an average goalkeeper will have a better chance of stopping a long shot from there.
Got it. Okay.
So let me clarify. There's a
Mhm.
goalkeeper, somebody's coming in, he's within he's in the 6 meter area.
Mm-hmm.
I can kayak tackle like the stern. I'm allowed to do that because it's not a near certain goal, or does that rule pertain to that scenario as well?
You're allowed to tackle them. You're just not allowed to foul them. So you can still block their boat. You just cannot commit a foul. Like you cannot paddle into their chest or hit their hands with a paddle to try to block the shot. That's what the rule is going at. It's not really trying to stop defenders from defending. It's just trying to make sure that when we do defend, we do so in a safe way, so that we don't hurt the shooter.
Thank you for the clarification.
Of course.
Just a question about what did they say? Positioning for a near certain goal. Does that mean like when someone makes a drive or trying to go there? No, it's actually number 3 on the list.
Oh, number 3.
Right.
Oh,
Well, that could be. So let's just say that it's a fast break, like we've seen a lot, and it's two attacking players coming in, and there is the goalie, right? And the goalie commits to go and actually defend on the player with the ball, and goes out and starts tackling them. And then the player, instead of shooting, wants to pass the ball off to the other driver that's now got a clear shot to goal. And if that player gets the ball, it's gonna be the goal is out of position. It's a near certain goal, right? I mean, you can never say 100%, but chances are that player has, would have scored. And while the first player is trying to pass in the ball, the one defender comes down and paddle foul him, or shoves him in the face, or does something illegal to stop that ball from getting to them. That's what that is. Going at.
Okay. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
No, these are penalty shots without the goal. But there are also penalty shots with the goal, right?
Let's go to the taken throws.
It
They
depends.
really.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead. Oh, because I'm gonna be scrolling here.
So they
Oh.
changed the rules recently, well, in 2019. And if there is a goal, if there is a goalkeeper, when the foul got committed, then the goalkeeper stays, and it's at 4.5 meters. If there was no goalkeeper while the foul got committed, then it's an open net, no goalie in for the goalkeeper for the goal penalty shot, and it's at 6 meters instead of 4.5.
Right.
So in the example that Ezio you just went through, if the goalie moves out of goal to try and tackle the player with the ball and commit the foul, because they moved out of goal, they're no longer goalie, and it would be a GPS without a goalie.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Because the moment you go out and you start tackling people, you lose your status. You're not trying to maintain your position as a goalie, just trying to block the shot. You're going out and you're tackling. So yes, in that scenario, there was no goalie anymore. All right. Any other questions?
We go over that distinction between standard penalty, standard foul, green card, yellow card when you.
Yes. All right, let's go. So the way the rules go about it, they go from red card down. So it's 1032, Sammy.
Oh, 1032. Okay.
Unless you're looking at a different. There you go.
The red card, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So red card is ejection for the rest of the game. That team will play with one fewer player for the rest of that game. If you are receiving a second yellow card for any reason, that is automatically a red. We don't really need to worry about red cards for coaches. If there is a personal attack, like any foul that's not even part of the game, like somebody, and unfortunately we've seen that sometimes at high level games, people just lose their mind, adrenaline and whatnot. And I've seen people throwing punches or like deliberately throwing the ball to somebody in their face, things like that. That's a personal attack. Again, I really don't expect to see any of that at our tournament. Any foul that is the.
Sorry to interrupt. I actually I didn't realize that this could happen, but I saw in a game between that was recent. I saw the game between Germany and France, and the guy actually was the last 10 seconds. He lost his paddle, the German guy, and the French guy actually took the paddle, throw it away from him. So the German guy was about to grab his paddle. He actually threw it away from him, and the German guy flipped the guy. He just held his boat, the French guy's boat, and he just flipped it. And that guy flipped over, and it was weird. But he did first that weird thing about throwing the paddle away. It wasn't called. It was the last of the end of the game anyway. But that could happen. You know, I just didn't expect it to happen at that high level. But yeah, there could be something like this, a personal attack in that way.
Right. Or if you have a foul where you as a referee feel that foul has a major influence. So like, let's just say like the game is tied and the team is trying to launch a fast break, and you want to stop that fast break because you know there's only a few seconds left. You want to stop that last shot, and you absolutely like maul the guy, like hit him in a way that wouldn't necessarily be a personal attack. It's still a playing foul, but it's clearly done to prevent that last shot to be taken. That could be in the judgment of the referee be a red card. There is also an automatic 1 game suspension if you get a red card. So not only you miss the rest of that game, but you miss all of next game. And that's because, again, if you commit a red card foul at the very end of the game, it's not fair that you only serve a few seconds of suspension. So then the way the rules go for all of these things, like unless you've given a red card, you are going to give a yellow card. So any deliberate or dangerous foul for which you have already received a green card, unless the referee is going to give a red card. Any foul that both deliberate and dangerous, unless you're going to give a red card. I just say that there is a first foul and the referee was going to give a green card, but allows the game to play on, because to stop the game would disadvantage the team that actually suffered the foul. And then that player keeps committing fouls, then you can stop, and then at that point turn that into a yellow card. Any vocal dissent against the referee can be sanctioned with a yellow card. Any foul language, and here it says, directed at an opponent or an official. I would just caution everybody to just keep the language clean anyway. Even if you're just mad at yourself, let's just keep it clean. There's no need for that. Here's what Sami was talking about earlier, that if the goal is scored by the opposition during the power play, then the yellow card is canceled, and then that player can come back in. So it would have been interesting, like you said earlier, because they had two different yellow cards, and I guess it would have been the earlier one that gets canceled because it was still within those 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So
That's how I would understand it too.
Yeah, and the yellow card carries on to the second half. So as the game clock stops, the timekeeper should keep note of how much time is left on the yellow card.
No, it says it in 10:33:11. It's the oldest one gets canceled.
Yeah.
Unless they score another goal. So
Right. Okay.
And here's what Sami was saying earlier, that a yellow card will automatically be given to anybody that commits a foul for which a penalty shot is given. But in that case, that is not a power play yellow card, because of course they're very likely to score right away. So in that case, the yellow card needs to be served in full.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And so then again, going down in order of severity, you get to the green card, which is just supposed to be a warning. There are no immediate consequences to a green card, but that's telling the players like, okay, you've done this foul. And maybe the first time that foul gets committed, you're not necessarily going to give a green card unless that foul is particularly egregious. But it's just a way to tell the players right away to stop, because they know that now they got a green card for that foul. The second time they commit that same foul, it's going to be a yellow. So it really has a good effect on calming players down and trying to have them pay attention to what they're doing. So again, it's kind of silly the way it defines them, because it's like, oh, you should give a green card in this case, unless you're going to give a yellow or a red. But I think he can kind of get the sense of how this is a decreasing level of severity. That there is the distinction here that you're not going to give any green cards in the last minute of the game. So that any foul at that point will be at least a yellow card, even if it's the first foul that player has committed. You can also only get one green card per game.
Oh yeah, this part here, yeah.
Right.
If the same foul got repeated.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same foul actually.
It's any foul.
Yeah, any foul, yeah.
Yeah. It used to be more specific, but I guess they made it even more strict now. So that any foul, any second foul that would have been a green card turns into a yellow.
Oh, so just 2 green cards to get a yellow, or not 3 green cards?
Correct.
Two green cards for the same person,
For the same
same
person.
player. Yeah.
But it could be a different, it could be a different foul. Doesn't have to be the same foul.
Or 4 for a team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But are you saying that you don't necessarily call a green card for every foul? If it's a, or I guess, when would you not call or use a card?
I would not give a green card if the foul, of course, if it's neither deliberate nor dangerous. I mean, you can still commit a foul and be a part of play and not be like a deliberate attempt to make a foul. To really be good at looking is like, well, what was that player really trying to do? Were they just trying to defend and then accidentally ended up committing a foul? Like the boat came up and ended up on the skirt and touching the body, or did they come pointing at him, and hit him dangerously or deliberately without making any attempts to prevent that? I tend to think that, especially for the way we played, the worst fouls that we do are the paddle fouls, because those are the most immediately dangerous for the safety of the other players, where it's difficult to control your paddle, and people need to learn how to do that. That's just a bad way to get hurt. So it's a lot of judgment, unfortunately, and to try to determine, how dangerous was that really of a foul? How deliberate was it? Was there anything that player, could have done to stop it? Was it just an accident? Yeah.
Once the 2 minutes are up after yellow, does the player who committed the yellow have to be the one who comes on, or can a teammate come on?
No, any other player can come on at that point, because it would be like an instantaneous substitution if you want. So any other sub can come in.
Does our tool track that, or whatever we use for scorekeeping? Does that track those time frames?
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I think the software that we had did.
Yeah, so Drew, that would be part of the responsibility of the table, because the referee cannot track everything.
Right.
So just an interesting point on the yellow card. Yeah. So if the referee doesn't know who committed the foul, the captain might get the card. I'm not sure if it's well explained here, but I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, Ezio, because that was a case that happened.
Well, it used to be that the captain decides.
Okay.
But it could be. I didn't see this.
The captain will get a yellow card if it's been awarded for a coach creating.
Right. That's a more specific. Right. So because the team collectively can only have 3 green cards, if a 4th green card is awarded, but is awarded to a coach for yelling at the referee or leaving their area, then to give a more substantial penalty to that team, the yellow card will go to the team captain. But I don't see anywhere. I guess the rules just assume that the referee always knows what's going on, and so there is never any doubt.
Yeah, it happened to us actually in Amsterdam. Mark knows that incident where there was a foul and they didn't know, and I just raised my hand. I was like, "Yep, that's me," and I just took the hit. But yeah, they believed me at that point. Etsy, I have a question which we always run into, and I want to find it here. On the sprint, when 2 people go for the ball and 1 person dips under, and maybe they're not going to get the ball. And then, although he tried to dip under, he ended up on the skirt of some of the other sprinter, can he play the ball or not? And
so if you end up on the skirt, let's just assume that there is no foul up to that point, right? You just end up on the skirt, you're not paddling into the skirt anymore, you're not over the body, you're not allowed to play the ball while you're on top of somebody's skirt. And that includes, trying to grab the ball, trying to block the ball. The only thing that you can do is push yourself off in a controlled manner and get off their skirt.
okay, I thought that there was something about if they put you there that you can play it. If they, so I'm trying to find that rule.
I'm trying to look for it too.
Yeah, this is a good question, Sammy, because this happens all the time. Like when we were playing in practice, like I would do that, and then Mark would be like, "You put yourself there, it doesn't count." And I just like, I don't. Yeah, that would be a good one to clarify because I never understood that. If you get over the person and then you try to play the ball, the other part, yeah.
If you hit their body, I'm sure that is a foul. But if you didn't and you just ended up there, what's the situation? So.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Mark is saying in that case makes sense. If say a player is just stationary and then you come up to them, you dip your boat under them, and you end up, slamming your body into their kayak, right? Because you're going so fast and you go down so deep. They should not be penalized for kayak tackling your body because you put your body there in that sense, right? They were not moving. There was nothing that they were doing that would have led them to hit your body. Now at that point, let's just say that you, the person that went under, also had the ball. When they end up on your skirt, are they allowed to play the ball? I am not sure.
Okay.
Because that's tricky, right? Like I said, they didn't put themselves there, and there was very little that they could have done because, I mean, obviously they wanted to try to stop you. You had the ball.
Yeah.
In the case of a sprint, it's a little more complicated because both people are always moving, right? I mean, this scenario that I just talked about almost never happens. What you usually have is that two people are going for the ball, assuming that they're both making some attempt to avoid going over the other person. Still, one of them is going to end up on top, most likely, unless they just bump noses. But so in that case, it's difficult to judge. Again, it's like, well, how much of an effort did that person make to really avoid that contact? How bad was that contact? But once they end up on top, they're not supposed to continue attempting to play the ball. And I wish I could find the specific language here, but I can't.
I actually have a question about that. Do you ever give a yellow or a green card on for a sprint? Because the sprint is a dangerous play, and it's.
Oh yeah, for sure, it has happened because you can see sometimes a player comes in, and especially higher level. I would say mid to high level because they have the speed, but they don't necessarily have the control. And you can see that the player is coming in, then they make no attempt to go under, and they just ram the other player, and that is dangerous because I mean you come in at full speed. So yeah, no, for sure you can get at least a green card, and even more if it's deliberate, which it would be in that case, and dangerous, which it would also be.
And that would be assuming they touch the body or the skirt. If they're just coming in full speed at someone's bow or stern, is that an issue?
No, it just touching the body, correct.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, because I've seen a couple of games where, I guess the player, one of the sprinters would lean with their body to try to grab the ball, and then the other boat hits them in their head or body, and there's no card.
Well, you're jumping on the ball, so you're putting yourself there, right? That's where the law cannot protect you.
Right. And there's, I mean, unfortunately, there's always gray areas, right? Because so if that player was sprinting on the ball and he would have gotten to the ball with their boat, but then you throw yourself on him, it's kind of like that play that we saw earlier with Russia and Sweden. How soon how much time would that player realistically have to react if all of a sudden the other player just like throws themselves in front of, it's like somebody jumps off the curb in front of you when you're driving. You might not be able to react in time, because was it reasonable to expect that something like that would happen? Is there something that you could have done? It really depends on the situation and what's actually happening,
That actually reminds me of something. On a paddle foul, if I have the ball, and I intentionally touch the other paddle with my hand, is that a foul?
Technically it is, because that means that paddle is within your hand's reach. I mean, you're not supposed to touch another player, to hit another player. Now, I'm gonna just leave it at that. It's like, yes, that would be a foul if you can reach that defender's paddle with the ball in your hands and touch it. That means that paddle is too close.
And in this case, it might be foul on foul, so it might be GPS.
Unless it's the goalie, right?
Correct. As long as that paddle is not moving towards you.
Ezio, you want to go over the signs quickly? I guess this is an important thing for people to know.
Actually, can I ask one quick question first? I think this is quick. Can you just talk very high level about the two refs? Because my understanding is that there's a primary ref and a secondary, and also what happens if there's a disagreement between them?
Of course. So yeah, you will have two referees, and normally the first referee is the one that's on the same side as the table, because in case there has to be any communication, and if there is a disagreement, if it's a major disagreement, the two referees can, in an ideal situation, like take some time and discuss about it quickly. Now, some of the last Worlds, the referees were actually given radios so that we could do that more efficiently without having to like run around the pitch. At our nationals, we're not going to be able to do that. So in those situations, the first referee, which is going to be the one that's on the side of the table, is going to be the one that makes the decision ultimately, unless like there should be no pride. If I happen to be the first referee on one side, but I know that the other referee was in a much better position to see what was happening, because we cannot really be looking at the same things in the same way from opposite side of the pitch, then typically I would trust the other referee. It's like, hey, if I'm not sure and if I didn't see it, I'm going to trust what you called. Now, if I also saw it and I am confident that that was not the right call, I would say something. So it really depends, but technically is the first referee that makes the decision. To that effect, one thing that's important that we should be able to do in nationals, because we can have enough dogs, is that the two referees should follow the game in a staggered way, so that they're never lined up with each other. You want to give the two referees combined the best chance to observe the whole play. So as you're moving towards the goal that's to your right, normally you want to walk all the way to the end line, because that way you can see what's going on under the goal with the goalie. You can catch any corners, anything like that. The other referee should stay further out, like 6 or 8 meters out, so that he can look at it from a different angle. He can look at what's going on around the 6 meters, and together those two referees hopefully can get the best angle to catch everything that's going on. So that on the other side would be the opposite. When you move to the goal to your left, you stop around 6 meters, and the other referee goes all the way to the end.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. I guess we can go over the signs unless there's any other question. And if you guys think of anything, just ask at any time. So
we have
starting free.
Sorry, Ezio. We have a Slack channel. We have a Slack channel, and You can tell me if you're not on it. I'll try to add you to it. But yeah, it has, it's just for the rules, and you can post a question. Ezio will help out with the question, or someone else can step in. But yeah, if you have a specific scenario, you can add.
Right. So signal number one, a start infringement. That's really mostly used for a false start on the sprint at the beginning of each half. Number two, I mean, we've all seen it over the last few practices when we were having referees. So that's either end the first half or end the game. For the goal, there was some confusion with some of the even older players that were refereeing. It's you're not pointing, it's both hands open, and you're pointing towards the center of the field, right? So if you're under one goal, you turn, you point to the center, it's a goal. You're basically telling the player where the ball goes. If for some reason you have to disallow a goal, you just, yeah. Oh, I just noticed my lovely assistant over there is doing all the gestures. Thank you. Sideline throw, which is the same as the corner. So one arm is still pointing the direction that the ball is going, and the other one is straight down, pointing at the sideline with a finger. So you're pointing down at the line, and both for the goal line throw instead, both arms are straight, palms facing out. One arm is parallel to the goal line, and the other one is pointing in the direction the ball is gonna go. For most of these fouls, it's important to remember that one hand is always pointing in the direction that the ball needs to go, and then the other one is indicating what the foul is, whether it's goal line, sideline, or whatnot. So timeout, if for whatever reason you need to stop, it should also be accompanied by a triple whistle. And again, it's to catch the attention of the table and the players and the other referee that something's going on and you need to stop. Referee's ball. I think that's the same signal as basketball. 2 thumbs up. Now, obstruction, which is what we saw earlier. It's just a raised fist. And again, for all of this, there are free shots. So all of the actual fouls are free shots. So that means that the arm that's indicating the direction is pointing up at the goal rather than straight to the side. And you have one finger pointing. And that's important because that's telling that player that's like, yes, you can take that foul and you can shoot directly at goal. You cannot do that on a sideline throw. You cannot do that on a corner throw. You cannot do that on a center restart after a goal. But on all of these, you can. And illegal kayak tackle number 10, it's a fist pointing to your side. 5 seconds and possession. So this one, it often escapes people. Yes, this is mainly associated with the 5 seconds when you cannot have possession of the ball for more than 5 seconds. And within those 5 seconds, you either need to dribble it, pass it, or shoot it. But that is also used for illegal possession, which means, for example, if you're not taking a throw correctly. So let's say that you're taking a corner throw or a sideline throw, and you don't present the ball, or the ball doesn't travel 1 meter, that is technically an illegal possession. You're giving the ball away. It's a foul. Or if you're paddling with the ball in your skirt when the ball is in play, that is an illegal possession. So it's more than just the 5 seconds. Just everybody calls it a 5-second signal because of the 5 fingers. And number 12, legal use of paddle. And
not here.
Right. Well, I mean it. Yeah. Anyway, near the elbow. Play on. Again, you want to indicate the direction the ball is going, and that just tells the players, like the players and the coaches, like, I've seen that something happened. I don't want to stop the play now, and I might come back to it later, or it might just be nothing that we need to come back to. But I'm acknowledging what's happening, so you please stop yelling at me. Here's making the distinction between a free throw and a free shot. With a free throw, you have an open hand and the arm is parallel to the ground. where the free shot, you're just pointing at the goal with a raised hand. And then a GPS, you have 2 hands now pointing at the goal. So, showing the cards, that's pretty straightforward. You actually, so you're gonna first show the, when you're giving cards, the time is stopped anyway. So you can take the time to give the card to the player, show them the foul for which you're giving them the card, and then repeat that back to the table. It's like, I'm giving this card to this player, and then they can note it down so that it can be counted. What else is there? Unsporting behavior, just shaking your finger at them. And illegal holding. So this one looks a lot like obstruction, but now your fist is moving. And the distinction, this will be when like you're leaning over somebody's boat, or you're paddling off somebody's boat, or you're grabbing somebody's arm. So different from obstruction in the sense that it's nothing to do with impeding the movement of their kayak. It's more about holding on to their equipment or their body. It looks like a lot, and it gets confusing during a game because the games are fast and sometimes there's a lot going on. I always recommend people, the easiest thing to do is, like, you're watching the game, you're ready, you got the whistle in your hand, you see a foul. So the first thing you do, you blow the whistle. That gives you time. It's like, okay, who committed the foul? Which direction does the ball need to go? And then you point. And then that gives you time to figure, it's like, okay, that was a paddle foul, so I need to do this. But don't sometimes referees get frantic trying to get it out all at once, and it's a lot to think about. But just like you see the foul, you call the foul, you point in the right direction, then you make the signal. Because honestly, what foul it was, it's the least important thing for the players. They want to know which way the ball is going. At least that's what they should worry about. It doesn't matter. Like, do I still have the ball, or did I lose the ball? That's all that matters, really. So just give that direction early so the players can react.
I have a question about number 13, play on advantage. Where it says for maximum of 5 seconds. If the ball is lost for like a pass that was blocked or a shot that was missed, do you still give the free shot or whatever the foul was, or is it lost?
I mean, it depends. If is it like the immediate next act? Like if there is a paddle foul, but that player, like I think it happened during one of the games that we were playing. I think there were Carsons that did a paddle foul. I think it might have been an Alessandra. Alessandra was still able to take the shot, so I let her take the shot. The shot went out, and so in that case there was no advantage because of the paddle foul. The shot was affected in a way that that didn't give any advantage to Alex, and so you can call it back. But it has to be like the very next act after the foul, right? I mean, if you commit a foul, play on, then that player paddles halfway across the pitch and then loses the ball. Well, that's too bad, you know.
Okay, even if it's within 5 seconds, like less than 5 seconds.
No,
if it's right.
Sorry, it's right here.
Yeah. Right. It's the next act in the play. You know, was that related to, like, did they lose the ball because of that foul that I didn't originally call to give him play on just to see, or was it something completely different? I mean, it could be a different foul, you know.
Yeah.
And it's definitely okay to even play on and give advantage on a foul where you would have given a card. And come back to it later, or at least a green card. I mean, if it's a yellow card, you should stop the game because that affects the game right away, right? Because you don't want, you want to think about what this team A just suffered a foul. What is the team that gives them the most advantage, right? If they're in the middle of a fast break, me calling this foul, unless I'm gonna give a penalty shot, it's really damaging them instead of giving them the advantage that they got for suffering a foul. So that's the way you want to think about it. You don't want to hurt the team that just suffered a foul.
Cool. Makes sense. Thanks.
So yeah, it says it here in the rules: if the next pass or shot, or if there is no clear advantage.
Mhm. All right, we're an hour and a half in. As we put the link of the PDF so you can go and check it out. I highly recommend that people read it. And yeah, if you have more questions, we're here. But if not, I want to also be aware of the time and let people go and enjoy their night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like Sami said, I mean, we did start a channel on Slack, and I don't know how many people still want to use Slack. But when anybody has referees, rules questions, the best thing that we can do for the club is to share those with everybody, because it might be something that somebody hadn't even thought about, and if we try to discuss those on a place where everybody can benefit from that resource, then everybody can learn from it.
I just have a quick question. If I'm paddling, let's say like the ball changes possession, and I'm trying to get down on defense, and the other team is just trying to make a fast break, but we end up very close to each other, so close that I can't actually fit my paddle in between my boat and theirs. Am I allowed to reach across their boat to paddle?
You're allowed, but it's very risky, right? Because the moment that your paddle goes within their hands reach, now you're fouling. Or if your paddle ends up leaning over their kayaks, now you're fouling. So the best thing to do in that case is to just paddle off one side, like you're paddling a canoe at that point. Now that said, they can come alongside to you, but they can also not, like if you're outside of the 6 meters, they also need to be careful, right, for not obstructing you. But yes, no, and you'll see that, and actually you'd see that sometimes. Two people fighting for the ball, and because they're right next to each other, now they can push on each other as much as they want because they're going for the ball, right? So there is no obstruction, and they will both be fiercely paddling just on one side, just to go up against that player.
Okay. Thank you.
Ezio, we were talking about this rule before, so it seems that actually within 1 meter you can put your paddle, even the defender, including the goalkeepers.
Yeah, but that's look at the sentence. You're taking a free shot within 2 meters of the goal. 2 meters,
yeah. Now I got called for that in Canada, and I thought it was so close that it was within 2 meters, and they just called it on me. But maybe I was moving the paddle. But yeah, I should have my paddle.
Right. I mean, a good way to visualize that is that if the person that's taking that free shot, it's near the nose of the goalie, then that's roughly 2 meters from the goal line, right? When you take into account like a meter and a half, it's half a boat plus, a little bit, because the goal is not going to be like right below. And the idea is that if you force people to wait a meter, basically all you can do is just put your paddle up in the goal. There's no room to block it. But it's only when the free shot is taken within 2 meters of the goal line, or the goal rather.
I'm trying to find the rule about the goalkeeper and going back to the goal, and but it's not.
What was it? There's a section that's called defense. Yes.
Well, you'll find that. Let's say someone makes a shot, the ball drops between an attacker and the goalie, and then I go for the ball as I'm right next to the ball, and then the defender pushes me into the goalie. Is that a goalie foul?
So if there was nothing that you could have done to stop, like if you just allow yourself to float into the goalie where you would have had time and space to stop, then yes, it would be called as a goalie foul.
it's more like you're stationary. So you just next to the goalie, stationary, you're
Right.
not paddling, and the ball falls next to you. You go for the ball to grab it, and the defender pushes you into the goalie.
In general, if a defender pushes the attacker onto the goalie, it's not a goalie foul.
Okay.
Right. Now, we will have to like look at the specific case and what was going on, but in general, if the attacker is pushed onto the goalie by a defender, it's not a goalie foul.
And I guess if he has the ball, he can't be paddling, so there can't be an expectation, right?
Right. Yeah. That's something that you can take into consideration when you're trying to judge that, for sure. Did you find what you were looking for?
I cannot find it, which is weird because I guess
Right there, 10.10.
yeah, I just put it. Okay, defensive goal.
So what was your specific question about it?
Just obstruction of if the goalie is going back to the goal. So I guess it's if the attacker hasn't fit one. Okay, no.
So you can look at that first paragraph, right? It first said that to be considered a goalie, you need to be facing into the playing area and attempting to maintain that position near the center of the goal, right? But then go to the next page. (10.10.9). Within the 6-meter area, an attacker must not actively prevent a defender from taking a position as a goalkeeper. So you're talking about covering a fast break. If, you know, again, the referee has to make a judgment. Like, is that player just going back to goal or are they playing defense? Yeah. Sometimes it might be difficult to say, but those two rules together should tell you that in most cases, that should be a goalie foul.
Yeah. Any more questions? Martha, Pen, Yana, Jessica, any more questions?
I'm sure I'm going to think of something as soon as we all hang up.
Okay. That's how it works. Okay.
Well, thank you guys. Much appreciated.
Yeah, of course. That's a wrap.
Thank
And we will do more stuff on the water too, maybe 5 minutes before each practice if we remember to do something quick. Check something.
And I think the best thing to do would be if we manage to convince Mark is that in between halves, because that's usually when things happen and everybody has it fresh in their mind. If there are any specific questions that we can quickly discuss at that time, we can take a minute or two, especially right now as we're getting ready for the tournament, so that everybody can listen to that and benefit from it, rather than just keep playing and then those questions kind of remain unanswered.
Yeah.
Also, if anybody has seen my red whistle from Sunday, please let me know. I really mostly care about the lanyard.
Yeah, was it the Austin Aquabats?
No,
Ezio,
it was
did you check with Kyle?
He hasn't responded yet, but I will.
Okay, I'm sure it has to be. I think he has it. If he hasn't responded, I mean, that makes sense.
Okay, because he was there at the Pine House when Alma and I were talking about it, so maybe he just didn't catch that. But no, it was my lanyard from the 2014 Worlds.
Ah, okay. Do you have one that has Aquabats on it too? Did I see that's right?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, I guess that's it, guys. Any more questions? All right. That's a wrap. Thank you so much, guys. I'll talk to you. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you.
Good night.